What's up, internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. It is Tuesday, August 13th, day number 29 inside the Big Brother house. Veto ceremony took place yesterday, and did it cause another earthquake? Also, Angela is begging to be a part of alliances. Let's talk about that, plus all the intel drama and more from yesterday's live feeds. But first, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. A reminder, there is a special episode of Big Brother taking place tonight. Cody, Jag, and Taylor are going to be doing something. I imagine it's going to be kind of like a clip show where they're going over things that have happened in the house. But the bigger news is that we're apparently going to be getting new information on the next twist in the game. We all are kind of on the assumption that the AI arena and the three nominees are probably ending this week. They've already shut down the backyard, so they're building something big back there as well. Could it be an endurance comp? Could it just be part of a big AI arena build? We don't know, but maybe we'll get some more insight into that tonight on the episode. Other than that, let's jump into the live feeds. A little bit of a recap if you guys haven't been keeping up with everything going on. Angela won HOH, but really it was just a competition for safety. Everyone knew that Quinn was going to be using his power of the deepfake HOH, taking over her nominations. Tucker, MJ, and Cedric were the noms all through the Angela AI that we got to see on the episode. His target was Tucker. Cedric actually volunteered to be up on the block to try and take out Tucker, but it didn't work. Tucker wins the power of veto, and now Quinn's plan going into the veto ceremony was to drop hints that, you know, the potential replacement nominee would be Rubina, in a hope that Tucker wouldn't use the veto on himself and that maybe he would keep himself off the block to keep Rubina off. That takes us into the ceremony, which did take place yesterday. Tucker did use the veto on himself despite all those threats of Rubina going up. And it seems like quite a few of them actually bought into Tucker when he was saying he might use it on MJ and he might not use it on himself. And they actually really kind of thought going into the ceremony that that might have been an option. But he was just kind of messing around. He had told Rubina that he wasn't actually going to do this, but enough of them, I think, bought into it that it was a thing. While the feeds were down for that ceremony, though, LA was hit with a second earthquake of the season. We're only 4 weeks into this thing, and we've already had two earthquakes. And it's just kind of funny that it just so happens that Tucker using the veto on himself was legit earth shattering, I guess. Rubina was put up as the replacement nominee. And Quinn was disappointed. He didn't really like that Tucker didn't fall for his whole plan of getting him not to use the veto. So much though, he kind of has him rattled. He was talking about considering next week going up as a pawn against Tucker to make sure he leaves. These are just not serious people anymore. They're going up as pawns when they don't need to. They're not using vetoes on themselves when they don't need to. They're just not serious people. And it's actually kind of entertaining. It's terrible gameplay, but it's kind of entertaining to see them all kind of just flop around and do crazy stuff inside this house. Other than that, though, it was a pretty slow day. Not too much was happening. Lots of just little chats here and there, little whispers, lots of who likes who and drama of all the crushes and things like that. There was a whole thing with Leah where she's, you know, kind of wondering, how do I get Quinn to stop having feelings for me or tell him that, you know, it's not a thing, which I feel like they kind of did earlier, but then, you know, they kind of continue to flirt. It's like you get lost in a whole mix in there. Rubina had a good point too, where she was like, I feel like everybody just kind of flirts a little bit, right? It's just kind of something you need to do to get through the day. But she was having trouble with that. Tucker actually suggested to Leah, is like, why don't you just call him out, right? Just call him out in front of the whole house. Put him up on the block. Eventually, though, they did have a conversation. I didn't see it, but Quinn told Rubina later in the night that he talked with Leia and was like, listen, we got to kind of chill. He's like, I tried to do it kind of nice, right? Where it's just like not working out. It's like not going to be a thing. He told the cameras, he was like, listen, I wanted that showmance to work, but it's just not going to work out. And this is also where I think, man, I feel like they missed an opportunity to try and push Leah as a replacement nom to Quinn this week. And it ended up being Rubina, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Because, like I said, not much was happening. As far as the game talks, though, little chats here and there, but nothing too big. Later at night, though, the backyard being closed kind of forced everybody inside, which also I think kind of hindered a lot of the game talk when there's only so many rooms you can go to and spread out to. It kind of makes it harder to get those private moments where it's like, hey, I can just go over to the hammock and nobody can hear us if we're whispering over there. The core, Chemo, Rubina, Tucker. We've talked about the four of them kind of being an alliance. They even have a named alliance with Brooklyn involved in it, which was a terrible mistake, called 5 Points. And they were all kind of chatting outside of the HOH room by the fish area. Meanwhile, inside the HOH room, Angela is on the floor by the door. And when I first looked and saw, I was like, oh no, is Angela? Somebody check on Angela. I was worried. Here, she's just eavesdropping. She's trying to get a good listen on what's happening outside the door with those four. Eventually, she must hear enough and realize, yeah, these four are working together. I'm going out there. So she goes on out there. She basically begs. She goes, please, can I be a part of this? I want to be with you guys. I'll be on the bottom. I don't care. I just want to be a part. And they're all just like, sure, right? Tucker's like, why not, right? We need numbers anyway. They talk about a name they could do. They might be the School of Fishes. We'll see how that all goes. But I don't know if I've ever seen somebody beg to be a part of an alliance before. And I don't know. This might be a first. Where she full on just, please let me be a part of it. Now, there wasn't too much game talk with them other than the standard stuff we've been hearing, right? Tucker doesn't trust Cam. They're worried about Chelsea as well. Tucker also doesn't trust Brooklyn, and he seems to be the only one who kind of sees that, where Tukur and Chemo, they pretty much seems like fully trust Brooklyn, and they feel like they could bring her over. But what blows my mind is it's almost like they forget that the Pentagon exists. Like they know from Quinn that Brooklyn, Cam, Chelsea, Quinn, and Cedric are all in a 5-person alliance inside of the collective called the Pentagon. But yet they continue to try and work with Brooklyn and continue to try and include her in things. Brooklyn's already told Chelsea about 5 Points. Has Decor and Chemo told anyone about 5 Points? What do you think's going to happen when that eventually gets thrown out there, right? Why didn't you ever tell? What are you doing back here? It's only going to just end up putting Decor and Chemo in a real rough spot when they probably, before all this was happening, were in one of the best spots. And they really had, even then, even after the whole 5 Point debacle, still were looking like they were in a good spot. But now they're getting to the point where it's like, you're kind of in trouble, right? Because we talked about how if they don't have MJ, if they don't have Mackenzie as an option to vote for, they're in a lot of trouble. And we saw that coming way before we got to the Renom and Rubina. And we were talking about how they needed to push Leah as the replacement nominee because they failed to do that. Rubina is up. And now they realize, hey, if it's Cedric versus Rubina, we're in a lot of trouble because we have to show our cards. Takor and Chemo, they've kind of decided like the best case scenario for us in that situation would be to vote out Cedric, keep Rubina, and try and have it that way. But again, you're showing your cards, and what do you think's going to happen when you vote out Cedric and then Brooklyn and Chelsea go, oh yeah, so 5 Points is a thing, huh? And they start calling you out for that. Who's everybody looking at now? Are they going to keep looking at Tucker? No. Also, what do you think Tucker's going to think when he finds out, oh, you were in a thing called the Collective? You knew about this thing called the Pentagon and you never told me about it? We've already seen Tucker doesn't like when people don't tell him things. He went so quickly from Quinn not telling him things and being mad at Quinn to all of a sudden being mad at Cam and Cedric too because they're hiding stuff from him. So what do you think Tucker's going to think when he finds out that you had this whole other alliance that you never told him about? I don't know. I just feel like they're getting themselves and digging themselves into a deep, deep hole that they're going to end up sitting on the block next to each other. And people already see them as a pair. They already see them as a duo. And it's just going to get worse for them, I think. I don't know. I don't know an easy way that they can get out of this. Let's take a look at our allegiance chart for today. Not too much has changed, but you can see how the numbers are kind of at, right? You've got the collective and the Pentagon over onto this side, but you also got people like Chemo and Chemo and T-Core. That actually, maybe that should be their name, Chemo. Just good old Chemo. Just the two of them together, they're Chemo. They're kind of trying to play that middle, but the problem is they keep sharing so much information with Brooklyn, who's so close to Chelsea, and all part of that Pentagon alliance. It feels like Joseph is the one who's actually found himself as more of that swing vote, the middle vote, that Chemo and Takor kind of had. Joseph now he can go whatever way he wants to go in the collective, as long as they stay strong. And then if this all does blow up and even Cedric's gone, again, who are people going to blame? They're probably going to blame Chemo and T-Core for being the ones to be all flip-floppy and flipping the vote. They're not going to be that mad at Tucker because they expect Tucker to do that. Who they'll be mad at is the people who've been lying to them the entire time. So I feel like this all could be a very, very bad thing for Chemo and Takor. I talked about earlier in the week where, hey, don't try and push for Tucker to stay too hard because you could end up losing what you got. Now they're at the point where it's like, hey, Tucker saved himself. Great. That's awesome. But they didn't do enough to keep Rubina off the block, who they could have fought for without it being real suspicious. They could have went to Quinn and been like, Quinn, why does it make sense for you to go after Rubina? Put up Leah. She's also not in the alliances. She's already distrusting you. She's already talking all this smack about you. She's told everybody about your final twos. She thinks it's weird that you're into her. Put her up on the block. And they could have done that. Instead, they end up with Rubina on the block. And now they're in a position that no matter who is on the block at the end of this week on Thursday, they got to show their cards pretty much. The only way they don't have to show anything is if MJ is still on the block. So if MJ wins AI Arena, Core and Chemo are in a lot of trouble, and we'll see how that all plays out. Other than that, though, again, there's not too much to talk about. They talk and talk and talk, those two, and I don't see them ever actually doing anything with it other than ignoring all the good info they have, and it's going to end up getting them in trouble sooner rather than later. Thank you guys all again so much for watching. I know it was kind of a short one today, but hey, that's what you get sometimes, especially when these people are just not serious people inside this game. Check out all the links to my socials in the description down below, pinned comment, things like Twitch, Twitter, Kick. You can check out all that kind of stuff. The Discord's also a great place to kind of hang out and chat about Big Brother and all kinds of other stuff. I want to actually get a fantasy football league going, so if you're into that kind of thing, go check out the Discord as well. All the info is going to be in there. Other links too, you can find stuff for Throne and the Ori fans. If you wanted to look into that stuff, you could do that too, but no pressure on that either. If you are new here though, hit that subscribe button. You've liked this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. One last reminder, there is an episode tonight of Big Brother, so if you don't have that set up on your recordings, or if you didn't have a plan to watch that tonight, make sure you do that so you can keep up with all the info. And if you don't, we'll have everything covered for you here tomorrow morning as well. Thank you guys all again so much for watching, and I will see you next time.
Special. That I could do better. Okay. Yeah. Me too. Yeah.